You've got a show where you know how to make things disappear, like me, like nausea. And so you eat the first one, kaspiti. Well, at the end of the day, pain in the body. There is actually this joke from back in the day that I read on email about body parts, like which body part was the one that Archie gave everybody grief? I believe it might have been like it wasn't the mouth. Look, it was a body part. I think it was like the nether part. I don't even want to use it by its name. The one with the A word, right? And all the other body parts are showing off to this one body part. The eyes are like, without me, people wouldn't see. The heart is like, without me, all of y'all would not be getting blood. You wouldn't be fine. The stomach was like, without me, you wouldn't have food. You wouldn't be fed. You'd be skinny and you'd basically be dying. The liver, I'll just give its own 2 cents worth. Without me, you would fall apart from poison, from toxins, and you would soon get blood poisoning. Without me, the pancreas goes at it. Without me, the large and small intestine go at it. Without me. And then this ain't part, this A part of your body, everybody mocks it and teases it as being whatever. And then because every other of these body parts was out here passing shade to everybody on some I'm more important than you, it shuts down. And because of it shutting down, every other body part then goes awry. Right? The eyes get blurry, the heart starts to beat faster, the liver has no way to throw toxins away, the this, the that, and then the A part of the body is like, yeah, without me, all of y'all ain't jack, even though you underestimate me and whatever comes out of me smells. Bottom line is, if I don't function, the rest of y'all are done for. Yeah, that's what's good. When you are sick like that, your body is basically telling you what that part of the body tells the rest of the body. Without me, you ain't going nowhere. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you've got a whole morning routine, okay? You gotta go and wear your skincare creams. But without me, you can't even stand up straight. You can't walk. You can't do anything. You're gonna get rid of this thing as a foster. Don't push stuff down my papa. I'm not staying. It's getting out. Disrespect. Yeah, no, I was so no. Yeah, this nose here basically told me, if you don't respect me for what I am, you're not gonna function, you're not gonna live. And even though you might have all these other things that you've got lined up that are bigger and better than me, that are more showy and ostentatious, bottom line is, when I say A, it's A, and it's not gonna be or D. It's not gonna be B or D. It's not gonna be anything else. So basically, the nausea, the poison in my body was like, and causing the nausea was like that anal part of the body, like telling everybody that don't be out here because you're pretty cute and you don't stink, that you're better than me. Because frankly, if I choke up, everything goes to the dogs. Everything. And indeed, everything of my morning went to the dogs. My whole day was ruined by the reaction to my body to this foreign substance, this poison. Do you understand? And I laid there. I tried to keep the poison in my body. I tried, like, proper vomiting the first time. Look, guys, you know, the way that pill was so fast acting, I saw no traces of it from the first time that I vomited. Like, no traces of it at all. It just went straight to work. Maybe it dissolves like Eno in the body, I don't know. But it was 2 little white tablets. No traces of pill dust, pill residue. Yo, Hashem. It ravaged me, you know that. It ravaged me, y'all. It harassed and ravaged me. I was ravaged. You ravazagile. Ke hakile bilious again after eating those 2 tangerines, and yet again went to the sink and I took them out. The tangerine came out real fast, easily, self-induced vomiting. The rest was not self-induced. It came on its own. 3 times. And this time around, the foam was even more bubbly. Like, hey guys, as in, I don't even know, like, proper. The police said I only took 2. Like, you know, in the movies when people get a drug overdose, when people overdose on drugs in the movies, you know how their mouths foam? Yeah, they foam at the mouths. Like, what comes out of them is a foamy substance. That's what was coming out of me. This time around, it was even more foamy. It evidences a chemical reaction that your body is rejecting. My goodness, like, what in the world did I eat? What did I drink? Did I take a drug overdose? I only took 2 pills. And even then, hours since the last ones. I don't know. I'm about to get to some other point here, okay? So, foam that you would see in the movies from junkies when they are ODing it came out of me. like it was foamed up like that, frothy, extremely frothy, like cappuccino, whitish. It was even more frothy than the first time around. So from the banana, I had 3 bouts of vomiting the gwebu, and it was gwebu-fied like bubble bath water. The second time it was looking frothy like cappuccino froth foam. Okay, and that's what came out 3 new times. And I'm just like, okay, fine, frothy cappuccino, do you? And I feel better. But this time around I realized that food doesn't want to stay in my stomach. I don't know what to do to myself. I'm left with 1 tangerine, but it's probably gonna come out. I have to obey the fact that my body just wants to vomit for now. It just wants to get this thing out. So I can't eat anything. So what am I gonna do? Am I gonna wait for myself to feel like trash all day? Or am I going to basically make like a doctor or a nurse in an ER having admitted an OD patient and just pump my stomach? And because I realize now that what I need to do is pump my stomach. Like, I don't know what else to do. I need to pump my stomach. So I went to the kingi. I came this side because my sister was in the house and I didn't want her seeing me getting like that. I came this side to lie down, having not drunk anything. This time I didn't eat anything. I didn't drink water. I just, after the last vomit, the tangerine stage 2, I was like, hey, let me let this thing run its course. Let me just lie down, because it was in peeling the tangerine that made me feel like trash. So basically the knowledge of my body of the reception of food is off-putting enough for me to vomit just on that, or to get nausea just on that. So don't incite your body to start preparing for the reception of food, because that just makes you nauseous. Don't drink either. Just lie down and hope this thing is just gonna maybe cleanse itself, simmer down, or fits. I told myself that I just need to vomit until I'm finished. Didn't even drink amanzi, right? Nothing. Something that I'd never done before. Like in history, when I had dibabalas, still on night I forced food. I proper, after each vomit cycle, I would try something. This time around, I was like, I let go and let God. And I remember saying to God, I'm sorry I took those meds, but you know I've got period pains from here to Timbuktu. You know how they sacha me, you know how they're ridiculous. Perhaps I just took like a prescription strength painkiller several hours after a non-prescription, and the reaction of the 2 of them in my body, because the other one was yet to be completely flushed out of my system. Like I said, even now I'm still kind of like the tranquilizers and the stove pain have made me walk around sort of kind of fluffily. It's like I'm weak and wobbly legged because the drugs are still coursing through my veins. They're not completely drained out. So maybe just the fact that there was a presence of the pills in my system, even though the last time I took them was a good 10 hours ago, maybe that was what this thing was reacting to. You've got a painkiller in your body and then you bring in another one, but the effects of eradicating the pain were gone. All that was left was the tranquilizing component. The like the thing that makes you feel weakish because you're on meds. Yeah, that was what's left, but the pain was there. And yeah, oh gosh, y'all. The things that the pharmaceuticals industry, it is no wonder we are a doped up society. Like, we are in danger, oh guys. Well, we are in so much trouble, all of us, eh? So much trouble. Stop taking pills, guys. I'm just saying. You don't want to die before your time, eh? Anyway, cool. So, yeah, I don't know what in the world went down, but I started to apologize to God. I was like, Lord, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know you're not a big fan of meds, but I also know that you don't consider it problematic when your sons and your daughters take medication for medical purposes. Like, if they are diabetic, they can take meds. If they've got excruciating pain after surgery, they can take painkillers and whatnot. I know you hate recreational drug use and also just popping pills and to get rid of even the smallest little headache. But while I'm sorry for taking those pain meds, how can I be too completely sorry? Because I'm taking them for a pain in my body that I can't suffer. Like, I cannot suffer it. Like, since I was a teenager, you've known me. So where's that lang mona? But you see, that's just the thing. The issue here was not so much that God did not want me taking painkillers during my period. It was that I was put in a position to have to try anything at all that was around that was an analgesic, precisely because of the odds that I am at with people mojarateng to a point where I can't ask anybody to help me out with pain meds. That is the bone that God is picking. So I urge you, apologize to him for taking pain meds when the Lord is rather picking a controversy with my mom. The Lord is picking a controversy with my siblings. Why are you treating my daughter so badly that she can't even ask for basic things when she has got period pains? And now she literally hooked up a concoction of pills in her body that was so devastating and so tricky to her hepatic system that the body rather chose to reject this stuff instead of embrace it. How you gonna put my daughter through all this just to eradicate basic period pains? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, what absolutely is wrong with you? So God, essentially, I believe what happened today. I believe that what happened today was a supernatural intervention. I believe the Lord pumped my stomach because he knew what would be the effect of me continuing to take those migraine tablets to deal, those prescription level migraine tablets to deal with period pains. He knew what would be the eventual result of it if I took them for the next 2 or 3 days. Likely the potency was so exquisite or exorbitant, with my body not being able to handle that, I could have faced maybe permanent liver damage or something, I don't know. Essentially, my system had to be pumped, okay? My stomach had to be pumped and I had to stop. And the Lord intervened supernaturally as well with the remaining pain of my period. In that right now, as I speak to you at 30 minutes past midnight, on the 13th of March, even though I started recording here on the 12th of March, I have no period pains, even though I have not taken any pain meds for hours. And this is only my 2nd day of my period, which is by far the worst. And I have no pain because the Lord has supernaturally intervened, because I was just going to keep experimenting with any like available painkillers in the house when there are painkillers that have been tried and tested that I've used before but that I can't buy, and they're cheap. Like Compral works swimmingly on my period pains. So too does Myprodol, ibuprofen. So too does Grandpa. And they don't give me issues, and I take them at intervals that are safe for me to take pills at those intervals until my pains are gone. But I could not get Myprodol, ibuprofen, I could not get Compral or Grandpa. I was just sitting with basically these these pills with which I'm experimenting, one of which dozed me out, knocked me out with a bat so badly that even though I tried to keep my eyes open as with matchsticks for 2 days, I couldn't. I slept even during the day twice, 2 times a day, and when I'm busy sleeping, I get harassed, I get attacked. Like, demonic attack is really very excruciating when I'm sleeping, so I gotta make sure that I sleep only 8 hours, that I don't capitulate to attacks, to sleep, to drowse off, so that entities can just usher sow depression, discord, sow despondency, and all that jazz. I have to stay awake for the hours that I'm supposed to stay awake as a regular human being, while sleeping for the hours that a regular human being must sleep. No more, no less. Okay, less would of course deprive me of sleep, and more would endure me through a tougher, more feverish spiritual war than is absolutely necessary. Okay, so basically my life was risked by the stop pain, or the pain stop, whatever. It was risked because it made me sleep more than normal. Okay, I could not resist the sleeping. And then now there were these pills that I don't know what they were gonna do in my body, but it was clearly something very unhealthy. And the Lord supernaturally intervened to a point where here it is that on my 2nd day of my period, I don't even have pains. Like, this is a miracle of nature. I kid you not. My periods are devastating, guys. Like, I've done entire videos dedicated to explaining my issue with my period pains. Like, they're bad, okay? So for me to not have period pains on the 2nd day, Joe, this is like the enemy thought he had me, but Jesus said you are mine. The enemy thought, this is supernatural. There's like an angel of God charged concerning me to guide me in all my ways, has lifted me up in his hand so I don't strike my foot against a stone. There is an angel of healing just out here with his glowing hand on my area, my cervical area, my uterus area, my period area, that area, and it's just like, and I'm cool in a miraculous way, in a miraculous capacity. But I'm out here sending warnings after warnings, shots after shots in your camps, hoping to shoot down darkness, to let you know just the devastating effects of pharmaceuticals on the spirit of a human being, right next to the what the devil can achieve in the era of you being under, especially when it's not necessary for you to be under the influence of any kind of, substance. Anyway, so this time around I come this side, I don't drink water and nothing. I tell myself, this thing wants to get out of my body, it wants to get out. At some point I will eat. I know I won't get better without eating. And I start apologizing to God. I'm sorry I took it, please help me heal, I'm sorry I took it. Like, I'm apologizing to God for taking a painkiller on my period. I'm pretty sure that's not what God wanted. The Lord was, like I said, picking a controversy with my family, whereas I'm apologizing to him for popping pills when I shouldn't need to, because if I had Grandpa, I'd be fine. If I had Compral, I'd be fine. Ibuprofen, and even then, of course, in moderation, just enough to get over my period pains and then put the pills away until my next period cycle, right? The Lord did not have an issue with me taking pain meds. He had an issue with the fact that I couldn't take the right ones, and so pumped my system and then gave me supernatural healing. I'm lying in bed, I'm apologizing to God, and the biliousness is now coming on its own. There's no fruit, there's no vegetable, there's nothing coming in my body. No bubble gum, no chippies, nothing. And I was like, God, I need you to heal me. Like, come on, I can't just, this stuff it mows to the ground. Like, I'm sorry for taking the pills, but help me get over this. Like, I don't want to feel like this, okay? I don't want to feel like this. Help me get out of this. I just woke up. I don't want to sleep all day. You know how I get attacked demonically when I sleep during the day. What must I do? Because when I eat, nothing gives. When I eat, nothing gives. And as I'm busy talking with the Lord, Joe, I just feel that again, it's coming, incoming. This time I drank no water, I ate nothing, but it's incoming. Just like in the good old-fashioned days of Babalas. Incoming. I'm light-headed, I'm woozy, I'm squeamish. I go to the kitchen, right? This time around, I didn't even froth, foam 2 or 3 times without the assistance of amanzi. Just came out. Guys. This time around I had washed the dishes. So I told you guys that when I felt relief, I in that time slotted in chores. So I washed the dishes and put them on the side, and I only dried them the next time around when I went back. So the sink was empty, and that's when I was just like all up in there. Yo guys, so all that foam. A third time, this time with nothing having been consumed at all. There was nothing in my body. And then I start to think in my mind, what's going on in my body? Something very acidic, right? This is giving acidic, it's giving gastric acids. If I want to neutralize gastric acids, what must I take? What must I do? God, kids, I'm thinking, so I start to think like heartburn, like when I've got heartburn, a natural remedy. Because me, I don't want to take any more meds. I'm not trying to take or anything with bicarbonate of soda. I don't want I don't want citro soda. I didn't. I figured that maybe what needed to happen was to alkalize my stomach contents, so I'm better. This is me thinking this through. But you see, the thing about a poison is you don't know if it's acidic or alkaline. A poison is a poison is a poison. It will produce that froth. So therefore you can't just self-diagnose with like something like, imagine that it's like heartburn. Heartburn does not make you feel bilious or sick, just very uncomfortable. You feel indeed ngati. There's like your throat is burning. That's heartburn for you, but it does not. Heartburn does not incapacitate you. It does not make you stop studying. It does not make you stop working. It does not it does not take away the quality of your life. Well, maybe it could, because it's just so uncomfortable to have heartburn. But it does not stop you dead in your tracks. It's not. It is painful, but it's not the kind of pain that can render you essentially catatonic in a bed. Yeah. So to assume that this is like heartburn was wrong. And guys, the Lord is what I'm trying to explain in so telling the story. Today, He was trying to let me know that you have a spiritual gifting, Karabo, and I show you things in it to comfort you in a season of seeing nothing giving, nothing good. All right. The world around you on the left and on the right looks ridiculous. It looks like nothing and no one is coming for you. And there is only one source of understanding that you have that is telling you promising things to come. And that's your spiritual gift. Like this morning I was woken up, right? Not morning, afternoon, after finally waking up. Like evening, after finally waking up. Because I guess I slept all day. I'm about to basically finish the story to let you know what happened. When I finally did pop out of sleep at around 6:30, going on 7 p.m. because I had to be in bed the whole time, all right? I then wake up to see that dream where I have instead of this painting on top there, it was a gold plaque, Yako YouTube, a gold plaque of which represents 1 million cool subscribers, right? That's what I saw. And the Lord was with today's experience trying to let me know that, oh, doubting Thomas, you don't believe because you have not seen. You think that the walls are closing in on you and you're starting to believe that these people are actually going to get to you. But what I show you in your spiritual gifting is going to happen. You have got to know that that's a thing. You have got to know that you are not alone. You are not alone. I am here with you. I am here with you. Though I appear far away, I'm always here to stay. You're not alone. I haven't forsaken you. And I'm doing a thing over here and it's dandy. Do not faint. Let not your heart be troubled, don't be scared. Do not be anxious for anything, but with prayer and supplication and thanksgiving, make your petitions known to me, and I will guard your heart and your mind in Christ Jesus. You are not alone, not alone. That was God. Okay? And the way that the Lord sometimes comforts me in the climate of things looking so crazy ridiculous, to a point where I don't believe my spiritual gifting pertaining matters of the medium or long-term future, is He gives me short-term prophecies, like things that come to pass, like as in within the day, within the hour, that I see in dreams, or not dreams but visions. Usually I will get like a vision of something that will happen in just the next 2 hours, with the Lord using that treat, if you will. It's like a quick win. When I am so disillusioned and so despondent that I think kuphelile, He gives me quick win visions, and they don't tend to be significant or of grave importance. They're not like a prophecy over South Africa or a prophecy over what's going to happen with my family, but rather something so futile and so trivial as, if you drink milk, you're going to vomit again. I kid you not, I have had flash visions in the past of things that happened just within an hour or two, that then once they happened, I would sit down and say to myself, if that happened, Gushkuti, all these other things that God shows me are gonna happen. Because I had a vision of my uncle coming through here today and asking me about the plumbing, and nobody called me to let me know that he's coming, and he came and asked me about the plumbing. I thought that it was symbolic when I dreamt it on some, no, maybe my uncle represents an angel of the Lord coming to fix the brokenness of my life. The plumbing is choked, so somebody's gonna come to deal with the issue. So in the future, the Lord is gonna send for me, and my uncle represents a figure of an angel. Yeah, I would thoroughly out here hyper spiritualize what I see, and then next thing go and I was gonna Chirina. Go, Karabo, Malume, Buddha man, get check or something. And then when he's inside, he's actually checking the plumbing, and I'm like, I mean, of course I didn't tell him that because my family don't like my spiritual gifting, but turns out, like, my uncle, here it is that he's coming to check the plumbing for not so much my place where I'm staying, the people in the house who are his tenants are the ones that this actually happened. The people in the house who were his tenants were the ones that called him to complain about plumbing. It had affected something that had to do with their water, not so much mine, but his little funny checking place or trap door, whatever, it was in the room where I was staying. So Angokotela, while I was sleeping, to come and check up on it. And when he came, after he left, I was like, you showed me that he would come here to deal with the plumbing today. It was not relevant or important. Prophetically, there was nothing hyper spiritually significant about this visit of my uncle. The only significant thing that I can pick up out of it was that you were showing me that when I give you prophecies of things to come, they are true. Many of them are literal and not figurative. Okay, many of them are literal and not figurative, and they will come to pass just in the same way that your uncle predictably came and fixed the plumbing on the afternoon of the morning where you dreamt about him coming to fix the plumbing. I was not showing it to you just to basically give you random arbitrary information. I was showing it to you that do not drop the ball on what you have come to believe I'm going to do for you, because I'm going to do it. I am going to do it. It's just that it's a medium term to long term fulfillment of prophecy, and that's why you're disillusioned. It's written in God's word that hope deferred makes the heart sick, and a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. Your hope is deferred, so your heart is sick, so you think I'm not coming. But if your uncle came because I showed you he would, baby, I am God. I'm the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and the end. I know it all. I have written down your days, all of them, from eternity past before any of them would come to pass. Psalm 139. I have carefully gazed upon you, knit you together. In your mother's womb you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and that's why you praise me. Do not fear these men who can only kill the body and thereafter do nothing. Fear me, who not only can kill the body but afterwards cast its soul into hell too. I told you, if I am for you, nobody can be against you. I also told you the gates of Hades will not prevail against you. The walls might appear to be closing in on all sides around you, and you might appear to be beleaguered, but understand that if I have decreed a thing, I've decreed it. Nobody can take the throne of a king or a queen that I have put in that position. You will be exalted to the rightful place that I have said you will be exalted to, even though it appears highly unlikely that that's going to be a thing. Adonijah thought that he could take the throne of Solomon, but at the opportune moment, within the right time before David died, I corrected that wrong, that ill, and Solomon took his rightful position. No one eludes me, my daughter, get that? Like, no one can deliver from the hand of God. So these people with their nihilism that afflict you so horrifically on the left and on the right, they will not elude me. No one eludes me. No one is delivered from my hand. I deliver from the paw of the bear and the jaw of the lion as I delivered David. But if I have seen it fit to put a man in the clutch of a beast, he will not escape. I bring down kings and I exalt. I vindicate and I condemn, I judge. I and I only. So do not look at the mere might of men that is finite and rooted in me, because I'm the creator, the original, and flounder. Look at he who has sent you. And so seeing as in him you live and move and have your being, just like it's written in God's word, apparently one for each day, 365 times, fear not. But Karabo, all you of little faith, Thomas. Yesterday I remember the Holy Spirit said to me, Thomas. The Holy Spirit called me Thomas. I was like, what is it, O King, do I doubt? What accuse you me of? What is this thing that you say that I am doubtful of? He's basically saying, you're sitting around out, you're blobbing in your bed, imaginative, that all that which I have said is not going to come to pass. You don't believe. What don't I believe, God? Well, what's going to happen? Is it the rapture? Am I getting married? Am I having children? What of these are happening? Because you've shown me quite a lot of things. What's good? What's giving? And upon me saying to the Lord, what is it that saith you, Lord, of me as Thomas? I then endure today, and I discover what in the world under heaven it is that he was saying to me when he says that you're Thomas. Last night, he told me, Karabo, you're Thomas. What do I not believe? That I'm going to give you what I said I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you that husband. I'm going to give you those kids. I'm going to give you that silver, that too, it's coming, but gold plaque, you'll go YouTube. I am going to give you Lies, but you don't believe me. You don't trust that I'm going to give you Bokamoso because you are beleaguered. Top of that, your family all together right now have kind of clubbed and banded against you. They're acting a fool. How not painkillers? How it's about weekend saying you don't know whether you're coming or going. You keep on posting on a channel where nobody's watching. And you keep on imagining that maybe this is going to result in your death. You keep saying at the top of your mind, you keep asking me, am I going to live through this? Like time and time again, I ask God, am I going to survive this? Am I going to live? Especially after the dreams that I get. Yesterday, there was a horrific nightmare that I got that I wanted to do a video to record, a video to share, basically apologetically discuss against it, but I was so disillusioned and flattened by it that I was like, and I didn't record, especially considering I'm terribly backlogged, and I also am uploading or posting slowly now because I'm waiting to get set free by YouTube, right, itself, instead of these miscreants that are involved in the syndicate in Africa. They're not going to ever do anything that is right, so I decided not to share it. But the thing that I got, I understood yesterday that I wanted to speak against, but that I didn't, was I had a dream of some guy saying to himself, I am not going to rescue a woman that only has a few years left to her. Yeah, some guy saying to himself that I'm not going to rescue a woman that only has a few years left to her. And I was offended by that, not only offended but hurt. On some, why is anybody thinking of me as one who only has a few years of mileage left on her? And then because I tend to be self-edifying, I recovered to myself understanding that, like worldly men are like that. Worldly men are like that. Like, not all of them, but you get my point, right? They have a very finite way of thinking. They don't see the glory of God in people, in women. And so piety is of no essence to them. They're carnal and corporeal and functioning on the flesh. And so because they're as carnal as they are, a 40-year-old woman is unbankable because apparently I only have a few years of mileage left on me. I wanted to do a video where I was basically saying, if you can say of a 40-year-old woman that she only has a few years of mileage left on her and so you're not going to invest in her, even if you took a 26-year-old bride, you evidence in so mocking a glorious woman in her 40s that woman is on a ticking time bomb herself, because when she becomes 40, you are then going to regard her the way that you regard me. Nobody stays the same age, and definitely we all age. We all progress from age 0 to 100. And so seeing as the young women of today are going to at some point be middle-aged too, when then a man like this goes and takes one of them for a bride, that woman has married a time bomb. That woman has entered into a mosh pit of a marriage. That woman is an inevitable scorned woman whose fury hell hath no. She will definitely turn 30 one day, should the Lord give her those years to live. She will also definitely turn 35. And then look at her become obsolete in the eyes of her rubbish husband when now she's 40. Kind of man to be out here walking away from a perfectly viable, beautiful bride that gave him all that love, all those children, and that packed all those lunches and cleaned up after all of those socks in the passage. That was all that ride or die reliable there for him. That nursed his wounds when he was sick, in hospital or with the flu, called him every day, brought home soup. The woman that stood up for him when her friends derided him, mocked him, ride or die. But she becomes obsolete for no other reason but the fact that she just turned 40. And a new colleague that is, you know the word that Judith uses in the movie Temptation, phenomenal, that he considers to be phenomenal. You know how she calls her husband Bryce a regular and says that I just wanted a phenomenal guy, and you're not phenomenal, Bryce. Like when your woman is telling you you're not phenomenal, what the heck, and that somebody else is phenomenal, that's the kind of stuff that can hurt something bad. Here's this man then rocking up and telling his wife that I've met, you're such a good girl, you're such a good woman, you've done so much, you're such a good girl, you're such a good woman, you've done so much for me, you've been ride or die, you've helped me build my business, you've helped me get to where I'm at, now that I'm 45 and you're 40, respectively, you're a good woman. I'm not going to take that away from you, but I'm in love with somebody that makes me feel alive. I'm in love with someone that is so phenomenal. I just wanted a phenomenal woman. And Caroline, you're not phenomenal. That's literally what Judith said to Bryce in Temptation. You're such a good guy. Oh, you're such a good guy. And I really don't want to do this to you. I don't want to hurt you. You deserve better, someone better than me. It's just that my life was in a rut and there was something missing. And I just wanted a phenomenal guy. And Bryce, you're not phenomenal. Imagine being told after picking up after all those dirty socks and after being there ride or die to a man that you're not phenomenal enough. He doesn't want to hurt your feelings, but there's somebody that just she really excites him. Men of the world have no self-control. They cannot gouge out their eyes, cut off their hands. They don't forever enjoy the breasts of the wives of their youths. They are forever straying and tarrying into the house of the immoral woman whose feet go down to death. They have no regard or cognizance of God, and so therefore consequences are not gauged by them as eternal. They are rather finite and corporeal. So they imagine that insofar as they don't get caught or they're careful about stuff in life, they're good. They're nihilistic. And so with them being guided or guarded by nothing but their flesh, they will regard a perfectly viable, worthwhile woman as you're not phenomenal anymore. Because I've met a 28-year-old PA, secretary, fellow colleague, a woman that is just turned 30. You're 40, you've only got a few years left of mileage on you. I wanted to rock up yesterday and expand on a whole big fat chunky entire video speaking about that. And I've got bullets in my mouth. I was going to spread that out over hours, but I was so disillusioned and so disquieted that I chose rather to watch some content of mine on YouTube instead of record a video because of a lack of faith. Like, I'm wasting time. What's the point of speaking all these things? Because frankly, I'm redundant. I'm repeating myself. I'm just using different analogies, different ways of presenting the same argument. But I get the same thing, and so I get to record. So I sat on that message. That is the blueprint of it. That is the architectural blueprint, the skeleton. I was going to expand on it over hours. Y'all know I can speak over hours, but I ended up not sharing and just sitting on it because I know the truth that I know. So what's the point of sharing, right? Which of course is an abomination in the sight of God. I didn't speak about that because of a lack of faith, and that was what the Lord was telling me upon me not recording yesterday when he called me Thomas. He called me Thomas last night while I sat in bed, and he said that I'm Thomas, and I said to him, what of me is Thomasian? Oh Lord, do share. Explain to me why you say I'm Thomas. Essentially, he was telling me you're Thomas because you had a message chilling on your heart that you wanted to share, and you didn't share it because you don't think I'm actually going to give you your life back. You think that you're wasting time. You think that these people who keep on deriding you with all of this insult and all of this insolence are to a certain extent onto something, except you would have told that guy where to get off perfectly and beautifully, feasibly too, and you would have reached, like I told you this evening when you woke up, very many people that you're going to end up with a gold plaque from YouTube. There are women who are going to be blessed by the message that I'm now today sharing in very many facets, of course, while adding that one into it as well, that are going to be enabled to not feel so creepy and crappy after a guy passes them up because they're 35 or 40, or not as beautiful as he would have her be. A man out here walking right by her nose because he is classist and she is not where in life she could be. And so I'm Mobonika next. I want you to give encouragement to people like those to understand that, baby girl, rejection is my protection. It is not a curse, a snare, and it ought not be something that out here is writhing away at your self-esteem. Rejection is God's protection. When your body rejects something that you know you need, do not gaze at it as, but when am I going to get my day in court? And so be disillusioned. Recognize that with long-suffering patience alongside delayed gratification will come the best things in life are free, and good things come to those who wait. Every good and perfect gift is from above and from the Father of heavenly lights. And Jesus has perpetually been the one to comfort and give solace therefore to the marginalized in society when nobody thought them worthy of taking up, or even if it was not worthy of taking up, but as a woman, like when you're younger, when you're like 18, 19, 23, yes, like it, but like you really take for granted your fertility. It's nothing to you. You can say stuff when you're 22. Like, well, if I get married at 25, my husband and I are going to wait 2 or 3 years just enjoying each other's company. And then only we're going to have babies. Also, when you are young, 18, 20, 22, when you are 16 in high school, and one of your friends or one of your peers falls pregnant, there is such a strong sense of judgmentalism in you over them. When you're still that young and someone falls pregnant, especially out of wedlock, right? There is a sense of bophelo ba gagwe is going to be significantly changed by this. Slowed down, no motho. This woman, this baby is going to dampen her step. The baby is going to cramp her style. Okay, yeah, type setup thing. A teenage pregnancy. When I was in high school, there was a girl in matric that was heavily pregnant floating around. And all we could think about as young ones on the come up was that pregnancy is going to cramp her style. It's going to significantly tarnish the quality of her future and all that jazz. None of us wanted to be pregnant because all of us were 18, 16, 17. All of us were kids. And all of us imagine we still have so very many years to meet men, women, maybe, respectively, depending on the gender over there, and then only start. But for now, we're young. YOLO, you only live once. And so this chick is like, baby, while we're young, you're out just having babies while we're kicking it in these streets, making like Janae Aiko. Yeah, when you're young, you look at your peers who are the first to pop baby bumps as, oh, girl, you are missing out, so because Tina, we are saka nyukaren. Siabangena, when I'm busy and you think that all throughout your 20s, okay? And then you look around and there's like a tumbleweed rolling around in the desert, and you turn 30 and there is no marriage in sight. You turn 35 and you turn 40 like Karabo, and there's still no child. However, the desire for children did at some point come. When I was younger, I was not broody. I knew that I wanted children one day. When my baby sister was born when I was 17 years old, I loved her. She was cute and adorable. But goodness gracious me, no, not for me. Like cute, but somebody else's. Like, yeah, they're cute, these babies, but let them be other people's. To a point where I couldn't even be a nanny. You know what I mean? But then I turned 22, and a change happened at the age of 22 where I suddenly desired to be a mom. From 22, I desired to be a mom, but I wasn't married, and I was principled by the standards of this world. So I was not going to give a guy a baby until I was married. But I was pretty ready to have a baby from 22. It's just that no one made an honest woman out of me yet. I knew I wanted, from the time I was in primary school, 7 kids. I wanted that big house, that full of bana, because I grew up in a household full of bana, even though it was not all from the same belly. My grandmother's house, our parents still stayed at home, life of like the late 80s and 90s. The independence of today, it was news to them. Back then, everybody be hitting 31, 32 cents. So my uncle and my mom still stayed at home with my grandmother while my cousins and I were born, and so the house was just packed with kids, and we had so much fun. We used to play with each other. It was just this boisterous, noisome house full of activity, and it was fun. And I knew that I wanted a house like that, but I also knew that unlike my uncle and my mom, who actually were still living with their mom in their 30s, I was not going to be living with my siblings in my 30s. So the only way that I was going to get that big number of children running around in the house was if I gave birth to them myself. So I wanted to have many children because I wanted the same setup that I grew up in. And when you are 30, that dream starts to kind of like, hey, somebody help me with my litter of babies. Help me. And nobody's actually marrying you. So from 22, I was already ready to start having 7 children. Like, where you at, husband? Like, come on. Uwe. Yeah, met a guy, fell in love indeed at 22, who dragged his feet and did not propose that whole entire 5-year time. And by the time we broke up, I was 26 and a half. I could still have 7 kids from there. I got born again, thank God. So it was still feasible. I could have 1 every year. you know, no more taking 2-3 year breaks in between pregnancies. I was going to be pregnant from my early 20s all the way up until my mid 30s. But now I shifted the goalpost out, and I was going to be pregnant from whenever I got married in my late 20s, early 30s, and I was going to just keep popping babies until maybe like 40. And this time I would have to like have one a year or whatever to get those 7 kids. Like I wanted myself. I even said to God, 7. I wanted 7 children. Anyway, whatever. The more the merrier. And sets on another plate. That's what's good. Yeah, but then like time progressed, and that dream started to feel painfully and ominously distant. And I started to have to now be like, okay, I guess 4 is still good. Okay, I guess 3 is still okay. Kids, that is. Okay, I guess 2 will do. As time progresses, you go from wanting 7 children when you're not married and don't have the husband to any pregnancy at all will do. Even 1 is fine. Just let me be a mom. When you're so broody that you're prepared to raise 7 children, out here ransack, decimate your body for 7 kids, when you are that desperate for family, and at 40 you still don't have even a single progeny, not even 1 offspring, you start to think about the pregnant girl in matric. And you start to think stuff like, 22. That chick that was pregnant in matric, her kid is now 22. Like, it's just unbelievable. So yeah, just all that pain. The first of your friends to fall pregnant when she was 21, and you were like, hey, yeah, her kid is like a young adult now. Young adult, like Papa. Or just 18, just turned 20. The ones who had kids when like 24, 25, their kids are in high school. And you are sitting around at 40. And yet there are people who've got kids that are old enough to have their own kids now. Like the one that had the kid in matric, that chick, her kid is 22. So I mean, that kid could have a kid, and so she could be a grandmother at 40. There are people who are grandmothers at 40, 45. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, type establishment thing. So basically, the chicks that you used to look at on some now you start to feel things like, at least they got to have their kids. When you were younger, the value of pregnancy and fertility is just so overlooked, and you take so much advantage of it until so many years progress and you don't get the kids you've always wanted, that now you feel like, hey, maybe you should have made a baby with a deadbeat, even though you'd be fighting and having baby mama or baby daddy drama. At least something to show for dijara tsa gago. You would have a kid, you would have somebody to comfort you and find solace in them and what have you. And yeah, and also when you're younger, when other people get married, when you hear announcements of marriages, it's like, oh, let's go to the bridal shower, oh, let's go to the baby shower, oh, let's go to the wedding, and it's gonna be ukjava everywhere. When you see people getting, like, you get encouraged, inspired by proposal videos on YouTube, TikTok, wherever. When you see wedding videos from photography companies, you're inspired. When you go to websites and you look at people's photos, you're inspired. When you're still 25, when you're still 24, when you're 23, when you're 18, when you desire marriage, you desire a husband, but you're yet to get one, when you're young, you look up to ambitiously with admiration at people doing that thing. But once a certain time progresses, it starts to become too painful to watch. The very same thing that you were once encouraged and inspired by. So you go from, oh, to I can't be there. I can't fathom how I would feel being there. And also the recommendations on YouTube of people's little weddings or testimonies of how I met my husband, blah, blah, blah. The Christians, skim right past them, can't watch them, too much emotion. There are all these baby videos on YouTube of cute little babies doing strange little cute baby stuff. And I sometimes with great trepidation click on these videos at my devastating peril, because I always come out of that short in tears. In like clockwork. I am avoidant of baby videos, where before I used to just guzzle them, eat them whole, like watching cat videos. I used to celebrate people's love. Now I am hurt by it. Whenever a man, especially a black man, is talking about his wife, my heart bleeds, because I ask myself, but why does nobody want to call me his wife? Like, what's wrong with me? That makes a man unprepared to make that my title. When content creators are be recording videos with their spouses, a guy that maybe you've been watching for a while, the videos of, And then one day he decides to feature his wife. Yo, I know guys like, hey, I can't. Like the other day, there's this brother in Christ by the name of Abednego Lufile. I watch his content, and he does videos just by himself. I know that he has a wife, right? But even though I know that he's a married man, I know the one day he did a short where he was like, I love my family, and his wife was there in the background wearing tracksuits, looking very cute, holding a baby. Bajaiva, the three of them in the short, just basically him trying to say, I appreciate the Lord for my family, and this is my wife and child. Yo guys, as Fetsa's short, I clicked on it thinking that maybe because it's a brother in Christ I'll feel a little bit better, but I could not get through the full minute. I couldn't. I was like, what is wrong with me? Abednego is a black man. I was like, why do I not have somebody with whom I'm dancing in a short? Sometimes women or content creators they look young, they look like they could be in their 20s, early 30s. I follow them, Christians, right? Listen to them for a season as they share the gospel, whatever it is that they're doing. And then one day they will, in their videos, just in commenting about general issues, mention, the other day, for instance, I was telling my husband, and all of a sudden there's just a spurred up in me this sorrow and jealousy. There is this sorrow and this jealousy that I feel because I clicked on her thinking she doesn't have a husband who's single like me, because I ngibone a ring anyway, because some people don't wear rings, right? And then when she mentions that she's married, I'd be like, wonke muntu is okay in this area except me. So I will develop a bias and listen to this person less purely because I'm just hurt and I'm jealous. Because why has nobody made an honest woman out of me? And this is not just Christian content creators, but even secular ones, like women that do hair content. I'm out here watching just her, and she's talking about hair, and then one day she will mention a husband, or she will do a short with her husband, and that'll literally cause me to stop watching her videos because I don't want to be triggered. It's just so heartbreaking. It is so heartbreaking. Or a person will be talking and I'll be listening to them to the 30th minute mark in a 45-minute long video, and as soon as they start talking about their family, I will click away and I will not listen to the rest of that video because I feel like I've been shut out of the world. I've been left out to endure all this solitude and all this isolation, stuff that never used to be the case before. I used to relish in such content, family, people getting married, marriage announcements, proposals, babies being born, cute little videos. I used to love that, but then I got thrown in this obscurity in 2014, and it all just appeared to elude me so violently that I struggle to watch babies. I struggle to look at pregnant women just walking around. I feel as if though I shouldn't have spoken so soon with a teenage pregnancy from high school, because at least she got to be a mom. I feel locked out of the world. And for me to wake up to hear of some dude that's saying there's no way that I'm gonna go out here and rescue a woman that only has a few years left of mileage on her, you don't understand what that does to me and my self-esteem. Because listen, okay, I've been feeling that way. I've been feeling like I only have a few years of mileage left to me. I've been feeling like even though I wanted to have 7 children, I'm probably only going to be able to give a man 1 child, maybe 2, and even then with great difficulty. I've been feeling like I only have a few years of mileage. I've been feeling also like, the thing that I said about when you are anticipating marriage in your 20s, you tell yourself that you're going to get married and enjoy your husband for 2 years, then only you're going to start to have children. I know that I can't do that now. I'm like 40. So if I got married, I would have to get straight to having babies. So no enjoying my husband for a year or 2. The loss of that time for me, it pinches me. It really hurts like no man's business. The leg room that I had has been taken away, and the big family that I wanted, the prospects of it are gone. The videos that get to me the most are the ones where, like, there's this one woman who I followed because she shared her sister shared a testimony about how at the age of 37 she got married already at 30, I think 2, and by 37 she still could not have a baby. She was not pregnant, and then she fell pregnant, I believe, at 39, and that was a very inspirational short. And I followed her because she was my motivation, my inspiration, right? She has a sister that has just had like a crash of children, right? While she just recently had 1 son, right? And so because she and her sister look so alike, like they look literally almost the same, I clicked on her sister's content on YouTube instead of her thinking that it's her. And then only later on came to realize that it's 2 different people. The sister with the many kids, right, has nothing but girls, right? She did a short recently, that she posted where she was like, people keep saying maybe you should try one more time for a boy, and then they bring out all the kids one by one, and it's like these, I think, 6 girls, and there's yet to be a boy, right? She and her husband are like, it's okay, fine, we'll just have a family of girls only, because every time my wife and I make babies, a girl comes out. And I just found myself just getting so forlorn. I clicked on it because I was like, no man, this woman only has 1 baby, because she recently gave birth to her child last year that she waited on God for a very long time, and nothing gave until recently. So banaba is 60 babazwa guy, only for me to realize, oh no, that's her sister. Her sister's the one that's got six daughters, while she has got just a son for now, right? Type establishment thing. Clicking on it was out of curiosity, because I was like, but this woman only has 1 baby, so did she lie to us as her audience? That's the only reason I clicked on it. But I clicked on it anyway, and I then realized that it was a sister rather. But then it broke my heart, purely because of those kids, that this woman had time to give birth to, the oldest one of which looks about 12 years old. So she has all that time. She had all that time to be pregnant, and keep bringing new babies in. Tapestry, listen, yeah, it all just stings so badly. It all just stings so terrifically that I actively avoid watching such content, where before I was actively enthralled by it. I sought it out. I wanted it. I desired it. Now I avoid it because I feel like my ship has sailed. And that was the very thing that God was telling me last night when I would not share a message about these crazy, carnal, worldly men.